Okay, so I guess you could say the next day, what is it? February 19th of 2026, 4 a.m. in the morning. I've been up since 2 because it's my shift now, right? Kids are sleeping, so all this is staying, okay? I don't know why Tisha doesn't come and grab something for the kids to play and she can play with him or something, you know, or Marcane, you know, like, you have a baby, it won't be long, within 2 or 3 years, some of this stuff he's gonna want. But then, you know, we're dealing with a woman that wants everything new or on her terms, in terms of she'd rather have Marcane donate this stuff to Value Village and then go shop at Value Village, you know, his wife, right? When she wants to go spend money and, you know, get her fix on when it comes to that crap. Clearly, you can see it's a fix, right? And buy the shit that I freaking had ripped from me, in terms of get rid of it. Get rid of everything you own, right? Before she'd take it from me to give, like, if I gave, like, the ABCs, okay, super something there, super stretchy, I'll see if I can zoom in on it, there it is, right, the super stretchy ABC, I'm pretty sure it's a big plastic chart with ABCs on it, I don't know what else. My son, with his child coming into the fray, in 2 years, 3 years, would benefit from that. But the people in my life, I don't care who it is, pretty much, want to take everything away from me and my grandkids. They want to take it away from Andre, they want to take it away from Amari, and they want to take it away from me. And they'll use my kids to turn them against me because I'm such a bad fucking person here, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because I had 60 years of life, 5 kids, had 13 people in this house, worked on nonprofit, did whatever I've been doing all these years. And I live in the Western world where it tends to be a little more materialistic, right? Okay? And I'm being penalized for that because our federal government is signing up the most vulnerable, the homeless people who have mental health issues. Okay, I'm going to just put this on me. This is not what I was going to do, but whatever. I'm pacing myself through this shit because this is serious crap. It really is, because, you know, they brought in that maid, assisted suicide, fucking dying, or whatever you want to call it, right? To get rid of the riffraff, the ones that either suck up healthcare resources without adequate pensions to pay for services. Because we have a universal healthcare system in Canada, but obviously those that have private insurance to get better services, right, are in the front of the line, and everybody else is in the back of the line. And with our federal government, I did not want to talk about this at 4 o'clock in the morning, but in my opinion, because the federal government over the last several years has been bringing in millions and millions and millions and millions of immigrants, whether they're refugees, students, international students, work visas, right? Landed immigrants or whatever. You know, that really puts a strain on the healthcare system. It really does. But the ones that live in Canada are the ones that are starting to pay the price for that. Because as our federal government is basically catering to the needs of an overflow of immigrants that are pushing themselves in front of the healthcare line, because now they have access to healthcare that's affordable, whether by hook or by crook. In other words, I do believe there's pharmacare fraud going on in there, because when Sierra was alive and homeless for those 8 years at the hands of the Ministry of Children and Family Development, let me remind you of that. she'd go to the hospital, they'd book her in for surgery, or they'd book her in for this, and because she was homeless, right before the time when it came time for those procedures, they'd take her to a different unit, they'd throw her clothes at her, and they'd tell her to get the hell out. Because the quote-unquote so-called surgery was canceled. Now, this is where the provincial government, if it had any decency and ethics about itself in terms of a government is for the interest of all people, to protect all people's rights, right? They should take Sierra's files and do an audit on them. Because I am 99% sure, 0.9, that there is pharmacare fraud in there where some immigrant got that surgery under my daughter's health care number while my daughter was being tossed out on the streets. Because the person who received the surgery wasn't covered because they were an immigrant of some kind that hadn't quite gotten onto the quote-unquote system. And how do I know that? Because Sierra was telling me that they were throwing her out. They'd wheel her saying, okay, you're going for surgery, get to the place. She'd be sitting there, next thing you know, somebody come in, throw her fucking clothes at her, tell her to get the hell out, it was canceled. But yet, in the room next to her, she hears some doctor walking in to talking to another patient saying, oh, well, Miss Chorney. Yeah. She's saying they're calling other people Miss Chorney as they're kicking me out, Mom. That's why Dr. Fasinski didn't want me to get a hold of Sierra's medical files at the clinic. That's why the hospital, the Surrey Memorial Hospital, doesn't want me to have my daughter Sierra Chorney's medical files so I can read through them and pinpoint fraud. Okay? So with that said, I don't even know why I went off on that freaking tangent. I don't. I forgot. It's too early in the day. So, but yeah, no, like, my son's going to have a child in the next... Hell, I got stuff for babies in here, for crying out loud. The minute that baby is born, I can start giving him things. But would his wife allow that? And even if she did, would she accept it with gratitude and appreciate the value, the emotional, sentimental value around whatever it was that I gave my son so that he'd have that for his, for my grandchild? Right? No, this is some of this stuff you can't even find anymore. Like I said, when the paramedics or the fire department come, I'm going to say, welcome to my museum. You want to trash a museum? Like, come on. What gives you that right? Are you going to tell me I can't have this shit up like the way I have it? It's neat. It's organized. It's, once you, right? And it's been here for years. All of a sudden it becomes a problem because what? I'm incapable of holding down the fort? Yeah, okay. So, I don't know. Am I going to sell it? Maybe. Am I going to keep it and use it for Amari? Yeah, eventually, sometime. Especially now with the basement, I have a room, right? I'll have something down there. Well, he has a stroller. He can sit in his stroller down there. And, we already know, right? And as it comes about, assuming there's not too many hiccups in there, I'll record it. No shame to my game. No, I'm not doing anything wrong. So anyway, in this room, let's just stay focused. So in this room, I want to move out all of that craft stuff. Oh yes, and these books, when I get into these books, because I'm turning this into a boutique to start moving my clothes out from my bedroom and organizing them, and then I'll decide what I'm going to do from that point. Right? Because, I got a Peter Wolf little tank top is somewhere around. Peter Wolf. Like, I would have been like, oh my God, like 14, 15, maybe even younger than that. Peter Wolf? You're going back like to 1972 and the 1970s with Peter Wolf. He was a radio DJ, one of the most popular ones in that time, right? Period. I have his tank top. I used to wear it. I still have it. Whatever. That's vintage. Somebody's going to want that if I don't want to keep it. I might wear it on YouTube. Hey, there's Peter Wolf. You know, all Peter Wolf fans step up to the plate. You know, like, fuck, man. So, these books, right there, I think I'll probably take them out. And again, it's emotional for me, right? Because every book I cherish. You know what I'm saying? Every book I've wanted to read and absorb 100% and memorize what was in it. So, you know, that in itself is kind of like an addiction where, you know, so it's going to be hard for me to pack them up and take them downstairs and probably try and sell them because, you know, what does a blind person need with these books? But I just like to put my hand on it and absorb the information from that, right? You know, if I can't find the time to read it, at least I can get a feel for it by just holding and looking and, you know, absorbing the vibe of the book, right? So when the time comes, though, what I'm trying to say is when the time comes to empty out that shelf, because I'm going to do one of two things. I'm either going to take that shelf downstairs and use it for the books downstairs along something, which I may very well do, because then what will happen is it will open up the room a bit more for these racks, because I have another hanging rack. I just don't think I can put it in here. And so I'm trying to like, well, what can I do? How can I, you know, where am I going to put it? Because I'm going to need it. And if I decide to put it in here, then clearly I'm going to have to clear out more crap. And that wall unit would be one of them, right? But that's not a priority because everything's organized. Up on top are children's puppets, and I've got all these round things that I bought for Amari for counting and to teach colors, and so it's nice there, ready to go. And now that we've got that big tomato chair with a tray on it, that bin actually can go downstairs once the basement's organized, and we can work on teaching Amari colors and maybe some counting. See how he responds, see if he picks up with it, right? You know what I'm saying? And then that might be just what I need to be able to get the other hanging rack in here, but I don't know. Or I'll just take out the books and then I'll use that wall unit as a means to, you know, put my sweaters in there or whatever it is that, you know, I think that I'd like to try and sell before I just give them all away, because there's no other choice. Right? And then, yeah. So I'm not doing anything wrong. So anyway, let's go into the other room, okay? So this room I'm leaving as is, right? Okay? I don't want to bring anything anymore in here because the reason that is because my instincts tell me, you know, I'm halfway through it when it comes to, you can see now, is this, okay? Yeah. You can see now, right? Okay? But I do need to get behind here, right? Where am I? There we go. Right? I need to get behind here, which is, again, all kids crap, all the way through, pretty much. There's some fishing hooks up there, and some fishing rods, like fishing boxes, right? And fishing hooks and weights and all that. And I've got fishing rods in the small bathroom. Andre wants to go fishing. So I have to keep those because Andre wants those. So maybe one day he'll be able to go fishing. And then, yeah, like all these books. Like this is nothing but books in here. Probably take out the books. Right? Where am I? Probably take out the books and then use that for like sweaters and whatever, nicely folded up, or even the nice fabrics or something. Can you see this? Oh yeah. So when it comes time to packing these up, you know, I'm just throwing them into a bag and taking things down. But it would be nice to, I don't have glasses right now, so I can't really see. What is this? Family activities. Wow, what a nice book. Look how thick that is. Look at that. That's family activities. Why wouldn't my son want that? Or my daughter? Or even me looking at with Andre? No. No, that's a problem. Yeah. So this is all going. This in here is for sure going. This is up for debate. Well, the books are going, right? But the shelf is still up for debate. Once the basement is done, right? This here, like I said, is Amari's. Look, I went out of my way. I don't know if you can see this. Do you see? I went out of my way and I bought different colors of jar caps. Just because of the way Amari's hands are. Right? Do you see? Okay? And it can go up to number 10, some of them. Okay? I spent a lot of money on this shit. Just, I don't get a lot of help with things. I'm always running around being that freaking mule. Look at this. So this here, after we get the basement figured out, this can go downstairs. Most definitely. And I brought my hat boxes in from my bedroom. Because, you know, I was a sexy mama when I was young. So I got some sexy mama hats in here. You can see what's going on there. Right? This is puppets. So this can go down. This can go down. Obviously, I got more hat boxes. So as the hat boxes, as these go down, and this changes, right, we'll get the hat boxes. And then whatever's inside the hat box, we'll probably try and sell. And we'll probably try and sell... I need a pen. And we'll probably try and sell the hat box. Because I got more than one. I got my old school Electrolux vacuum cleaner, which is the best of the best. You know, is that a problem? The only thing it is kind of a problem for me. Because I've never really had room for it. So it sticks out all the time like a sore thumb. Alright. So you can see what's going on in here. Now we're going to go... So, guess what's going on now at 20 to 5 in the morning? Yeah, press the button, press the belly. Amari's got gas, and me's got burps, and he's got a lot of poop. That... He was sleeping, then he woke up crying. It's 20 to 5 in the morning. And he's fussy. He was crying. So I had to come in and I woke up Andre and, you know, where's his seizure medication? I got ready just in case he started puking so I can catch the puke and got a rag. We got some water. Where's that water, Amari? You threw that bottle down. You gotta get ready for anything, right? Yeah, where did that bottle of water go to, Amari? I know you dropped it down on the ground. Where did you drop it to? The goal here is just to you know, be prepared for a seizure just in case. So far, actually, I don't know where that bottle went to. You just want to make sure he's not going into seizure. And if he's going into seizure, you want to be there when it happens. And deal with it, right? So as soon as I came out of the playroom, I heard him crying. Prior to that, he was sleeping. So, of course, I had to come check up on him. And then we just wanted to make sure that everything's okay. And now he's not crying so much. Sit him up, help him to get a burp. You know, I push my chest bone into the curve of his back to straighten him up, to help him with those burps, because sometimes he needs help with burps. And so far he's already had one little burp. I ordered today. He all the time eating, right? But today I broke down and I ordered sushi from a Japanese restaurant, and I bought some extra stuff so that we had food for 2 days and a half, right? 2 days, depending how much we eat. Now, see, another burp. And he little farts, and I put my finger on his tummy by his belly button. Yeah, he's burping right now. And I can feel the rumbling, and oh, I don't like it. We've been giving him that laxative every day with 2 tablespoons a day, which the doctor says, yeah, he's still burping. The doctor says, here, now I'm going to put this here just in case you upchuck. If you upchuck, I don't want it all over everything. I want to catch it. Because you just don't know, right? You got to be prepared for anything. So, better to catch it. There, if you got to throw up, you can throw up in that. Yeah, and then it's got a face cloth here. Where did that face cloth go? Just in case, right? I don't know where that water went to. I need that water, because water, you know, if he's like throwing up or something, or whatever, sometimes just putting the bottle and he gets just, it helps, right? Depends on what he's doing. You know. Okay, well, don't get mad at me. No, I need that there just in case. You see, you're getting cheeky, eh? Now you're getting cheeky. Now you're getting cheeky, man. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. He's either sleeping or playing. Very seldom does he do this. Okay, something's bugging you. When he wants to bite his hand, he's mad. Now why are you getting mad? Because I put this here? You don't have to clean it up if you make a mess. I do. So I want to catch the mess. I don't need extra laundry, Amari. Not right now. Not as stressed out. Come on. Right? Where did that bottle go to? That's what I want. Where did that water go to? Where did it go? Oh my God. Now Ned is in panic mode. Normally he'll just play if he's awake. He'll play with these little things. And he doesn't move off the couch. He fell off the couch today. Well, no, he didn't fall off. What he does is he waits for people to leave, and as soon as we're out, he's right off trying to get off the freaking couch. And he did that within 30 seconds of me leaving. And then he literally knows how to get off, right? Because, you know, there's this mat here, right? But there was a gap. There was a gap between the mat and the couch. It was not very big, about that much. And when he did whatever he did, he got caught up in between it, and he got stuck. He couldn't move. So that kind of frightened him a bit. Of course, I was afraid, oh my God, did you hurt yourself? But he didn't hurt himself, right? So we have to make sure the mat is pretty much right up against the couch, because this is just reality. You know, he's moving now more. He knows how to move. Right? He's that Houdini baby. Right? So at least he's not caged in, right? He has freedom, you know. So I need bean bags. Before I can give him too much freedom in here, I need to, like I said, bring everything up off the floor, take out a whole bunch more books, right? And then bring in a whole bunch of bean bags to place up towards the mantelpiece. And I'll also run foam along the mantelpiece because I can see him grabbing and trying to pull himself up if he can get into that corner, like in that area, if he bypasses the bean bags and then stand up on his knees, however he does it, because he's got his method, right, that works. And next thing you know, and then if he really wants, I don't know how he does it, but it's almost like he stands, I don't know how he does it, but if he pulls himself up, standing up on his knees wobbling, he can actually go higher if his legs are in the right position and almost stand on his legs, but not really, because one is severely like that. But he's got it down pat anyway. He knows what he's got it figured out. So that's another thing people don't understand, right? When it comes to his mobility. Yeah? You got my attention? Oh yeah? Is that what it was? You just wanted me to play with you? No. I know your tummy's upset. Stop it. Okay? Yeah. Nana's got things to do. I'm on a leash right now. And it's a very short one. Okay? So, let's see if we can get you to pass some gas. Oh my God. Let's see if we can pass some gas. Now I'm pulling his legs up a little, right? Just maybe we can pass some gas. Because I felt that stuff bubbling around in there. Yeah. And we know what upset tummies can be like. And plus he's got a poo. So maybe this can help. His foot. Left foot is very strong. Right foot is just, he uses for support. He's strong though. He's a little hard body, this guy. Oh, I can still kind of manage him, but he's definitely getting stronger. Oh yeah. That's another thing these people don't understand. He's this little hard body. Yeah. And he don't give up. Nope. Yeah, there we go. Little gas pass. I felt it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. Since the doctor, the neurologist, increased his medication, from what I can tell, the twitching has stopped over the last week or so. Yeah, I haven't noticed it. Nope, it hasn't been waking me up, and as far as I know, it hasn't happened. So that's good. That's good. That's good. But we don't take things for granted. No, we don't. No, we don't take things for granted. Try not to anyway. We try not to. Yeah? Huh? You just want that cuddle time? He wants his cuddle time, because oftentimes I'll lay down and I'll let him lay on me when I'm laying down, right? And we sleep like that. I wake up and he's there. Only one time did it affect my heart. It made my chest that one day. Remember I did video on that? Outside of that, it's okay.
Will you give me a hug?
No. So I guess he's missing his cuddle time, because he hasn't gotten cuddle time off me for a few days anyway. Yeah. Kanana been busy. Yeah. She's doing that daily grind. I do 2 shifts. I do the day shift and I do what is that called? The midnight shift. Right? Yeah. See, now this is where he will play until 6, 7, 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning maybe. Depends. There's no real fixed schedule with Murray. But by 6 or 7, 8 o'clock, chances are he'll be tired again, because he got up at 4 and he was up at 2 because I woke up at 2 after I ate that sushi and stuff. Of course, I fell asleep because this is the time when I work, right? So Andre and Amari are like here, and I'm sleeping. And then anyway, I woke up at 2, and Amari was awake. So I changed him by 2:30. Told Andre get to sleep, blah blah blah. And so by 3, they were pretty much getting on their way with the sleep. And then by 4:30, I guess, right? 20 to 5 or whatever. Murray, because, so within 5 minutes of being in that room doing that little video, he woke up, because he's gassy, right? And he had burps and stuff. Now he's awake. So he was probably sleeping when I was sleeping at some point, because Andre managed to do dishes. Yay. I'll probably have to wash him again, but at least he's trying. And, but when I woke up, Amari was already awake. And then he fell back asleep, and then he woke up again. And he getting attitude. Are you getting attitude with me? Yeah? You getting attitude? There we go. We have to pop that out, eh? I know. This arm will always be a problem. All the time. This is something that you live with, and you do a pretty good job, Amari. Yeah. You really do. If the world could be as happy as Amari, the world would be a better place. Honest to God. I've been saying that ever since I got him. And his personality, his happy little self came out. Yeah. Even when he's in trouble, he laughs. Yeah. Yeah, you do. Are you going to let Nana go work? What do you think? I got things I have to do. And I'm already getting tired. And I haven't even been up for 4 hours yet. Oh, there's the gas. There's the gas. That's probably what is upsetting him. Yeah. That's probably what's upsetting you. But that could be a trigger for a seizure. Stuff like that, you gotta be careful. Oh yeah. Well, maybe not careful, but you gotta be on guard, You gotta be ready to react to it real fast. Deal with it. So I woke up Andre and said, hey, Amari's acting fussy. I don't know what his problem is. Where's the medication in case he goes into seizure? Get me a face cloth in case he goes into seizure. Right? Get me his water just because it helps. Whether he drinks it or not, it doesn't matter. You want that water, right? And Andre did that. Then he went right back to sleep. So I got everything I need. And if it gets real crazy, then we just wake up on Andre and we're good to go. We deal with it. But you're not going into seizure. He's just missing his cuddle times, and he's got an upset tummy. That's what's happening. Okay, but Nana's got to get going here soon. Am I right? Yeah. Let's just do this for a bit more. See if we can get a bit more gas to pass. What do you think? Huh? See, I'm exercising at 5 o'clock in the freaking morning, man. Whew. And he's like, I'm pulling to try and bring up his legs, and he's forcing his legs to not move. Ooh, but the gas is coming out. It's those silent killer ones. Oh my God. And those ones can be painful, right? And like he's getting stronger. Oh yeah. Yeah. If he doesn't want you to do something with his body, he'll... Oh, there we go. There's more gas. Yeah. Now we're hearing bubbles. Come on. Oh, the silent killer ones. Yeah, there we go. What do you think? Huh? Don't start biting your hand because you got gas. Everybody gets gas, Amari. It's all that food you've been eating. He eats, loves to eat. Eats sardines, everything. What kid eats sardines? Amari does. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kidney beans. We gave him kidney beans yesterday. It's everything in there. It's not just kidney beans. Yep. We'll just get one more little something going. Nana doesn't have time to lay down and sleep and cuddle with you, okay? I just don't. Not tonight. I gotta put in a couple of hours doing something else. Mm-hmm. Not tonight. No. Maybe later when I'm done and I want to rest. Then I'll give you your cuddle time if you're awake. That's only if you're awake, though. If you're not awake, I'll leave you alone. I'm just going to lay down and then that's where I just cat nap. It's called dozing. Yeah. Okay, you're good. I think you're good. Okay, so everything's fine. I know your diaper is fine because I just changed that a couple of 2-3 hours or whatever it was ago. I changed your diaper at 2:30 in the morning. Something like that. And you're good. There. Comfy cozy. Right? Cuz is right there. You're not by yourself. You know the drill, Amari. You behave yourself. Okay, you let Nana work. Alright. Here's your little bear. Your favorite little bear. Oh, he loves this little bear. If anyone ever wants to get a gift for Amari, this is the perfect gift. This size, right? The big ones are too cumbersome. These kind like this size is too big, right? He likes them. He'll play with them, right? He'll play with these. I have an English one around, but I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, this one's French. And I guess the battery needs to be changed on it. But, even that size. But if you can find them this size, with, the buttons and stuff, he loves these.
I'm sleepy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That would be perfect. Because these are hard to find, eh? This has been since he's been a baby, this one. I have to tape it up in the back, right?
Favorite shape?
And I've been looking, I'm always looking for these, eh? Always. I never find them. The last thing I found was this size. Alright. So if you ever find something like this in your travels, and you think of Amari, and you want to give him a gift, this is what it is. That is the best that you could ever do for Amari when it comes to what he really enjoys playing with. Mm-hmm. And they're hard to find. Oh my God. Sure, sneeze all over Nana. And now my hip in my groin area is going on me. I'm twisting in. I'm at the discotheque doing the twist. That's what it is. I want to know where that bottle of water went to. Where did that go? Well, here it is. And then I'll leave him with water. And then what he'll do is he'll splash it around if he doesn't drink it. And I try not to get too stressed out about it because it's just water, right? Yeah. Now we're going to leave you here. Okay? Nana will check up on you. You will be a good boy. And because Andre's here, chances of him falling off, or not falling, because he doesn't even fall. Chances of him trying to get off the couch and get onto the Matt, he won't do it because he knows Andre's there. At best, he might just, where am I? At best, he might just flip himself over, shimmy his butt at the other side of the couch, and then just lay there. And if he wants, he'll reach his hand over and he'll touch Andre, and then he'll just play. Yeah, that's what he'll do. There you go. It works really good. Yeah. There you go. Are you good now? You happy? You got your water? Where's your water? Right here. Don't forget. It's right there. Okay? Yeah. You want? No. Okay, so we're going to just put the water right there for now. All right. Okay. That little bugger. What do? I settle him in. Blah, 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 blah. I sit down here. Well, yeah. I thought, okay, because, you know, I have got to listen for a little while, right? Before I can wander off down the hall. I'm almost empty this coffee. Andre made this one for me at 2 in the morning when I got up. So I get motivated. It's now 5:17, and I'm drinking cold coffee now, so I just put the burner on with some more water. I'll make myself another coffee here. I'm going to sit here for a while, and I'm going to listen to him. So I went off to go, just because, right? Because you can't assume things with Amari, right? So I put the water on, I go to the bathroom, I wrap my head around what I'm going to do next. I remember why I brought up the subject of the healthcare system, in relation to MAID, and like, you know, what they were doing with my daughter Sierra, in regards to quite possibly pharmacare fraud, to accommodate immigrants coming into the country that don't have any sort of coverage. And, you know, a good way to get the surgery is to use somebody else's healthcare number, right? Especially if they're homeless and they can easily be tossed off into the streets, right? I'm just saying. And then, of course, the government now brought in, what is that called? MAID, where there's been thousands and thousands of people who have already used that quote-unquote public health care service because they're either homeless now, they're branching into the homeless population, and they're either mentally, you know, disturbed to one degree or another, or have mental health issues or whatever, as well as disabled in various degrees of, you know, body physical ailments, whether it's, you know, being in a wheelchair and because, you know, you can't walk or whatever, it doesn't matter. They're pushing people to sign up for MAID, those types of individuals. They're doing it through homeless shelters and other public government services where, you know, it's a solution to deal with your problems very quickly, which is a cost-saving measure for the government, especially if you're dependent upon the government for either support or for your medical needs, yada yada. So, you know, what I'm trying to say is, oh God, I hope this thing isn't staticky too much. What I'm trying to say is, when it relates to that, is that whatever I'm going through, in light of the death culture that I'm living in, we're under that caste system, that two-tiered system that has turned into a caste system. You know, it's like there's a vengeance on removing certain individuals that have been designated to be eaters, beyond being breeders. You can't breed them anymore. They're just eaters now, right? You can't work them anymore. They're just eaters now, right? And yeah, so when I talk about whatever I'm talking about, you can't say that I'm not facing that prospect of somebody in my travels at some point sooner or later isn't going to put the papers in front of me and say, hey, Judy, why don't you sign up with MAID? You lost your grandkids, you lost your house, you lost all your belongings. I mean, come on, you're sleeping up on the streets, you don't want to go to a shelter, you know, you're still somewhat cognitive where we can't legally put you in a into those healthcare facilities where you're locked up involuntarily, right? Because clearly you can talk and think, and you're not showing this, the erratic behavior where we can justify snatching you up off the street and stuffing you into some building and then lock the key and say you're not getting out, you know, and then you just magically disappear into the numbers of many thousands of people who are disappearing based on the types of politics that we have today, right? So I don't use the word MAID loosely in terms of it's not nothing to be laughing about, because that's what our society is being groomed to accept as quote unquote normal. Unless, of course, you're a ruthless person, greedy throughout your whole life, was willing to do almost anything to accumulate wealth to insulate yourself from that attack, whether it's a social thing or whether it's a government thing. But ultimately, it starts with the government. Yeah. So more reason to keep that up on the table, being that I am going into age 64 now. My birthday is like now. So I'm 64 years old now, and I'm the prime perfect target for that because I'm legally blind, dependent on social assistance, right? Have no use of anything anymore. And, you know, being that I am a rebel raiser, right? I won't easily and quickly conform, I should say. I won't easily and quickly conform to the act of slavery, as in being a slave, and, you know, not challenging it. The government don't want me around for any longer than I need to be. So yeah. So I go to the bathroom. Okay, now that I said that, right? I go to the bathroom. I already resigned to have another cup of coffee just to get me going, eh? Because I wanted, there's something I want to accomplish before I take a nap to get up and go back to work, right? I want to take some stuff out of the bedroom and pile it up, and then I'll probably rest, right? And that's when I'll either cuddle with Amari if he's awake, or if he's sleeping, I'll just listen to something and in and out, doze in and out, doze in and out, and then get up and get right back at it. So anyway, I put on the water for coffee, I go to the bathroom, and you know what that little bugger did? I bet you can guess. As soon as I left, he knew I wasn't here. And what did he do? I come back, and he's on the mattress with Andre laughing. Because he moves, and then poof, he's gone. Like he can do it like within less than 10, 20 seconds. He moves one way, next way, and then poof, and he's on the floor. Yeah. So, of course, I had to pick him up, put him back, and he's playing. So, you know, prior to getting into these bedrooms, this is where I'd be doing dishes, or I'd be doing laundry, or I'd be picking up recycling, or sweeping the floor, or maybe I might pick in here, or I'll do the laundry. So normally he hears me moving around, eh? And he won't move, and he'll just stay there. But as soon as he heard me leave the kitchen and go down the hall, what did he do? He popped himself off onto the mattress. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, when I take out the things that I want in the living room, bring in those bean bags, right? I can leave him on the mattress because he will be safe, right? If he really wants to be there with Andre. Mm-hmm. And depending on how I set up those bean bags, you know, he could probably even be there by himself with me on the couch. Yeah, which would be great for me. Not that I like sleeping on a couch, but that's basically what I've been doing for years, just to accommodate Amari's special needs, and that's just a fact. Now, when I in the bedroom and I clear out whatever's on the bed there, which is mostly fabric and some of my old clothes, my farmer's clothes, just everyday work clothes that I never get to, but besides that point. Will we use that bed? Probably not. It will be available, right? It's not available forever, and we never used it because this worked better for us as a family and a team. Worked best for Amari. It was good for Andre and good for me, right? But it's the best for Amari. I couldn't have Amari in the bedroom by himself. No way. And if I did, he'd have to be literally caged. And that's not fair to Amari. No, that's not. Here he's not caged, and here he has a bit of freedom, right? And here he's got two people basically keeping an eye on him 24/7 for the most part. 24/7. There is no most part. 24/7. And if an emergency happened right now, oh my God, Andre and I, we'd be up on it. Yeah. Andre, get up. Let's go. And then, or Nana, get up. Let's go. It's either Nana, get up, let's go, or it's Andre, get up and let's go. Yeah. People don't appreciate that in terms of what we go through. Right? They see it. I don't know how they see it, but they don't see it as that it works, right? Because it does. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. And that's the thing. If it didn't work, we wouldn't do it. And I still feel safer. If a fire broke out, I'd still feel safer in here with that window versus being in that bedroom and being locked in and not able to open the door, and then having to try and get the kids out through that fucking window with a 18 foot drop, 15 foot, 18, maybe 20 feet. I don't know how. I'm going to measure it. I'm going to measure that drop onto hard freaking landfill with gravel rocks in it yet. Yeah, okay. As a matter of fact, when things get more organized, I'll go find something for 35 pounds. Or 40 pounds. I'll go find something for 40 pounds. I'll put it in the middle of a freaking, what is that called? Blanket. And I will see if I can take that, bring it up to the windowsill, hang on to it, and then slowly drop it down. And I'll measure the footage on that and see how long it takes me to get that out of the house in the event of. And I don't think it would take me very long. I really don't. Yeah. So anyway, he's being good right now because he hears me. And because he's so determined to be on that mat, I know what he'll do tonight. Tonight he'll sneak off on it. But it's not penciled in properly. I still have to. It's a milestone we came into, people. It's not my fault that Amari has milestones. And I have to adjust around those milestones. Right? Yeah. So, I'm going to make my coffee. It's 5:30 now. Oh, joy. And, I'll just see what I can get done in the next couple of hours. I'm really tired, but I don't want to go to sleep because I won't. That's not the kind of tired I am. Right? Why are you fussing? Did you fall? Did you go off that couch again? I gotta go check on him. Okay, so I took away his talking bear and I just found another little one. And I noticed it has a back in it. But I don't think there's batteries in it. So I'm going to get Andre to look at it tomorrow. And maybe we can get this one to work. This one came in around the same time as the other one. I'm not sure if it works or not, but we'll find out. So yeah, if you can ever find something like this, even if it came from a thrift store, I'd be happy. You can send it off to Amari, okay? Because out of everything that he plays with, he loves these the most. He really does. And then, if you happen to have an old school camcord, the old ones with the, what is it, AVCH something, right? The a 680 420 frame or whatever, right? Then you can send that to me too if you don't want it, because that's what I like to work with my editing program. Those 4K videos, you know, they take up a lot of space, right? In terms of on your hard drive and that type of thing. And you have to use up-to-date editors for them, right? I can't use them on this computer. And I'm just stuck on old school stuff, so. If you got an old camcorder around that's, you know, working, if it's broken, don't waste your time. But if it's working and you don't want it anymore and you don't use it anymore and you can't sell it, you can send it to me, because this camera's got to go. Only I can't afford to buy a camera right now. No. Okay, so we're going to put a battery in this tomorrow. Now he's clucking. You can hear him. Yeah. I don't know why the camera turned off. I don't think it has a lot of storage space on this disc, because maybe this, you know, SD card or whatever is too old. So I turned this on to see if, because the camera just turned itself off. And I don't know why. Because it's plugged in. Oh wait, maybe maybe it's plugged in but not plugged into the box. Oh yeah, see, I do this shit all the time. See, that's what happens. The battery is messed up. And these things got moved around. It gets unplugged. There, now it's plugged in. Because there should be enough storage space on the SD card to be able to do what I'm doing right now with this recording. So the battery burned out. So yeah. I don't know. What I wanted to do was go into the bedroom, take some stuff out, probably do some books. There's a light in there that I want to take now for downstairs. I saved it. Of course, other people would have wanted me to throw it out, but I'm glad I saved it because I need lighting for downstairs. So it will help for the sewing area or wherever, right? It's nothing fancy. And I got a bunch of books on it and whatever when I was, like, you know, turning my room slowly but surely into a pantry. As I was putting in things, I was taking out stuff. And a lot of it was books as well, right? So I'm going to bag up books, get them to the door, and I'll take those books downstairs. I think they're mostly cookbooks, probably some school books, some really nice school books, right? Some really nice cookbooks. And I got to Shimei's piano the last time. I got a little deeper in there, but then I threw a bunch of shit on that. So I'm going to clear that back out so I can get to the piano, and I'll play a little tune. And then that's when I'll end this video, playing a little tune on Shimei's piano. Yeah. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, you know, because like neither Andre or I are feeling very good about anything, because, you know, Marquin's ignoring me. I won't say he's ignoring Andre, but he's definitely ignoring me. So in other words, he's not helping nothing, and the last time he left, he was making threats to fight against me with the social services because I wouldn't do whatever he wanted me to do his way, because he was in panic mode. And I'm like, yeah, but, you know, da-da-da-da. And so he got pissed off and ran out with a bunch of threats. So I don't know. I haven't seen him since. He did bring back the computer, but he didn't say nothing to me, and he fucked off. So, right? And as for Tisha, she ain't offering any help or nothing. She's just telling me, you know, like everybody else is telling me to do shit, criticizing or whatever, you know. So I don't even ask. I just don't ask. As for that young man next door that helped me to do whatever, that ain't gonna happen. So, you know, just because people don't have the stamina or whatever. And Andre and I are working through it, and we're actually doing a pretty damn good job considering all things said. But, you know, it's like he said yesterday when we were, you know, eating the sushi and shit. Right? You know, like we're sitting here afraid that the freaking social workers in the fire department will show up with the freaking police and take out Amari just because they can. Just because they can. Because, you know, we're being held hostage to this people situation. Okay? I just walked you through a scenario that in the event of Amari having a seizure, between Andre and myself, we know what we're doing, and we do it. And we do it in such a way that it works for everybody. Right? Okay. Now, I hear you playing with a plastic bag, which tells me you're getting into the diaper wipes, and you probably wormed your way off the couch like a sneaky little, I don't know what. And, yeah. So much for working in the bedroom. He's too busy trying to play. Hold on a minute. Okay, so I don't even want a coffee. Feeling freaking nauseated here. I do want a coffee, but yeah, you heard him playing with a little bear. Sneaky peasy. Mr. Easy. He snuck himself off the couch. This is not a big drop, it's just a little drop, right? Laid himself down there, got all nice and cozy. He started grabbing things very quietly. This is a milestone. He did it very, very quietly. By the time I got in there, he found the paper towels, and he had already started unwinding the paper towels. And he was doing it quietly, and he was playing quietly so he wouldn't get caught. That's exactly what he was doing. Yeah. Yeah. Ain't heavy, right? He's got to put him back up on the couch. And he turns into a little hard body, because he know, right? And then grinning up at me, smiling. Yeah. So I have to be firm for him. I have to be firm with him now. Go to sleep. That's enough already. Stop it. You know, not as tired. I got things to do. Right now, if I lay down, whether I cuddle with him or not, he will calm down, but I have to accomplish a little something. A little something. Honestly, I should go make that coffee and just not give up on what I want to do here. So, all right. It will be better when I remove everything the way I want and redo the mantelpiece the way I want, and then bring in those bigger, either bigger pillows or bean bags, so that, you know, he can be there and not, and I don't have to. I mean, you always have to check, right? You always have to listen. You always got to have that heart of steel. I mean, that's always a given, right? But it will be a little more, not so nerve-wracking, right? You know. Hold on. Okay, so this video is getting kind of long. I mean, I ain't doing nothing what I wanted to do, because Amari's just being independent. Like, you know, you can't blame the kid for wanting to be independent here. Little bugger snuck his ass back down on there, on that mat. So what I did is I put him on the other side, on my side of the couch, where if he, you know, wants to, if he's on that side with Andre, where Andre is, he tends to just stay put, right? I'm trying to raise my voice, but stop it, you know, there. But he doesn't respond to that kind of stuff very much, because he thinks everything's funny, right? You know, for, like I said, if the world could be as happy as Mari, the world would be a better place. But and he moving quiet. Yeah, that's a new milestone. He being sneaky about it, people. Like, right? I don't know, little bugger. So I put him on that side. I told him to stay. So hopefully he'll just stay put, because otherwise it's a game. And I'm already tired. Yeah, I woke up tired. And what little energy I had, I've already used it up. Yeah. But I don't want to go to sleep, because, you know, Andre and I are feeling really insecure about this situation. You know, he don't need to be worrying about police showing up with freaking social workers and fire department taking, what, Andre out of the house? I mean, sorry, Amari out of the house? Do they plan on dragging Andre out? Because I've got homeschool stuff that I've had for years and years, some of this stuff. You know, I showed you, right? What I showed you is not quote-unquote warehouse material. And now I'm thinking about, you know, my landlord, right, Mr. Gill. Well, you know, you're not supposed to have a warehouse. Well, I don't have a warehouse. I have what you call food prep. I have 60 years of a life sitting up in this house that I never really could use very much, because I was too busy in your yard, sir, trying to keep up with the Joneses so that you could get your $3.5 million when you sell the house, because, you know, there are amenities in the yard. There are garden beds, you know, not so much like they used to be, but it wouldn't take much to dig them up and get them going again. You know, some of them are covered with that landscaping material, some of them are not. Whatever, it's not the point. The point was, I was out there for 14 years pulling that freaking morning glory and everything else I did out there. So if I got anything that is an overflow, well, maybe we should blame it on my first baby. Because I got stuff in here that I got when I had Brooks as a baby, still to this day. Yeah, and Brooks is like, what, 40, 41, 42, something like that. 41, I think he's 41 now. In his 40s anyway. Tisha, my youngest child, is 28 now. Yeah, imagine that, 28 years old. Wow. I said, Tisha, how old are you? She goes, 28. I said, 28. Wow. So maybe I'll just end this video. I think, you know, I think he's still on the couch, but as of tonight, he's moving quiet, real quiet, because he doesn't want to get caught. That's what a sneaky kid would do if they'd want to do something and not get caught. So that's a milestone for Amari, because he's definitely being sneaky here. Yeah. So all in all, I'm proud of him. Because he's a thinker, right? You want them to be thinkers. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love Amari so much. And I try and give him freedom as best as I can. Oh yeah, you're still in there doing something. I heard you. Because he is a thinker. So I encourage it, right? Whenever I can. So, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to get a chance to get into that bedroom, honest to God. I'm just going to stay quiet and maybe he'll fall asleep. So we'll see. Okay, he's still laying where I left him because he's on the other side. I notice if he's on the other side, on my side, closer to Andre, whether he sticks his hand over the couch or not and just kind of like, you know, whatever, he usually won't move onto the couch, right? He's just happy to be close to Andre. He really is. And so he didn't move, but he's still awake. But you go to sleep. That's enough already. So what I want to do is I think I'm just going to finish this video. Because I don't even know when I'm going to get into the bedroom. But when I do, I'll bring the camera in. And we'll just touch base in there. Because I've already done videos on that room. Right? Long time ago. When we spent more time in there doing things or whatever, right? And, but before I end this video, I just want to bring it back to the front where, you know how lopsided our public services are when you can have strangers who gang stalk, and that's just a fact. It's all in how you interpret it, I suppose, but at the end of the day, gang stalking is gang stalking. For an end goal, I will be straightforward to say to traffic children through a system that props up, I suppose, for some that work within the system, a form of middle-class lifestyle because it becomes a permanent income on the number of kids that go through the system. Because without the kids, there'd be no employment when it comes to child protective services. And it's already out there that it's a system that basically traffics children for profit. All right. So with that said, on the other hand, when it comes to the elderly who do not have personal quote-unquote pensions or who are well-to-do in regards to retirement savings and investments and blah, 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 then you become targeted for MAID, for assisted suicide, when these individuals that promote that crap now can get away with it. Whether they harass you enough through various groups that you come into contact with, depending on your circumstances. As an elderly person, you could be an elderly person with autoimmune deficiencies, right? Not have grandkids, but because you've got autoimmune deficiencies and you require, right, more healthcare services, whether it's medication or tests or whatever. I'm just using that as an example, where it becomes expensive, I suppose, for that government ministry under health, where it makes more sense to get rid of you, and the more they can get you to agree with it and sign yourself up to get rid of yourself, right? Well, then, they save money. Then also, too, don't forget, they also use your body after the fact for whatever purpose, right? It's not just simply sign up for MAID and die. No, you're looking at $1 million just for the body coming in after it's dead, by some people's estimates, when you chop it up into pieces and sell a little this and sell a little that. Right? Depending on what you're selling and if it's in good shape in terms of a heart or kidney or whatever. Interesting how there are no EPS, Elderly Protective Services, or DPS, Disabled Protective Services. We have CPS, Child Protective Services, that can come in and ruin families' lives to take the child out so it can be trafficked, so that people can have a middle-class lifestyle. However, that money's coming in from that one little kid, and then multiply that one little kid by thousands and thousands and thousands of kids, and it becomes an industry where you can't tell me these kids aren't being trafficked, because they are, to one degree or another. I'm not saying that there aren't kids out there that need quote-unquote protection, but at the end of the day, the statistics are in, and the system is more against the people than they are for the people, right? Well, why don't we have an elderly protective services to protect us from people like Child Protective Services that want to come in and take our grandkids away from us because we have some health issues, whether we're blind or maybe we don't have the mobility and we're more dependent on a freaking wheelchair. I'm just using that as an example. Or, or maybe we don't have grandkids, but we're an elderly person where we're being denied X amount of healthcare services because the other person on that quote-unquote team is pushing the paper for us to sign to kill ourselves because it's going to take too long to wait for our medication to be approved because, right, we've got autoimmune problems and the government doesn't want to pay for this medication or anything else that's related to our disabilities. So where is the elderly protection services for us? There isn't any. That's why there's MAID. How about the ones with just straight up disabilities, whether you're old or young or not? It doesn't matter. You come across these stories with people that have disabilities because of blood diseases or they were born a certain kind of way with, being whatever, like a Mari, you know what I'm saying? And because of, they don't look like us, they don't act like us, for some reason they're not valuable. So they go get services, and they're denied. And then again, along comes the letter for them to sign up to MAID. And they get pressured for it. And yes, they're bringing this into the shelters people, and they're pressuring homeless people to sign up to these things. Obviously, the more vulnerable you are, the more uneducated you are, the more just whatever damaged you are because of the assault, non-assault that goes on in our society against those that are, vulnerable, you're going to submit to it. Is that what social services, child protective services want for me to go to fucking MAID and sign up for it? What are my alternatives? Because that's the messaging that's going on in our society. So what, you can protect the child? I don't see you running back and forth every 2 minutes doing what I do. Hell no. I don't see them sitting there waiting for the cops to show up with the social workers to take out the grandkids just because they can and they have a point to prove and the government will protect their shenanigans. Right? They're not shaking in their boots. But they're not also one step ahead of Amari's milestones, right? I am. But they put so many hurdles in front of me that I don't know if I'm going to be able to meet them. And there's always going to be hurdles in front of me when it comes to Amari, because the bigger he gets, the bigger his needs. And, you know, I mean, this house is not lifelong, because if, you know, the economy and just the mentality of landlords to get every penny they can out of these houses before they get torn down, which will put me in a position of not being able to get affordable housing, to which the government is quite comfortable with that, because as far as they're concerned, I'm old and I should just be put into a box and sold for, what is that called? Shipped off to be made into Soylent Green. Right? Power bars. Yeah. There are no elderly protective services. There are no disability protective services. Because if there was, I'd be talking about it. So maybe that's what some of these people joining my channel, I don't know, now there's 7 new ones. But every now and then I get that troll that comes in. Hey? Coming in with their fake user accounts, and they bring 1 or 2 extra, you know, subscribers, sits for a while, and then they quickly drop off. You know, psychological warfare on YouTube. So I figure 5 out of 7 new subscribers, I figure 5 are solid subscribers that are going to stick around for the show. You know, go for the rodeo. Stick around for the whole freaking rodeo. Because somewhere with these 5 people, there's probably, well, I'm not going to say all 5, because that's just, you know, but I'm sure there's a few people in there that can really relate to what I'm talking about when it comes to not being a bad person, right? Whether a criminal or not, okay? You know what I mean? You don't go out of your way to hurt people. You don't steal. You know what I'm saying? You right? You'll help when you can, and right? And yeah. And pay your taxes. Even if it's at the grocery store or at the gas pump, you're paying your taxes, right? And you're coming into cutbacks. You know, got to balance that budget. You know, whether it's the federal, the provincial, or the territorial, or the freaking state, doesn't matter. You've got to balance that budget. And of course, there's a price to pay for that, for those below a certain income level, right? And, you know, you're facing trauma and drama, and I don't know, like, you know, there's probably something that I'm saying somewhere along the way where you can either relate to it, and you're fighting your own good fight, you know, trying to make sure that you get your medication before, you know, like Amari's medication. You know, I need this medication. I was told I had to pay $400 per bottle. Last time I was told I had to pay for those bottles, that was $250. Now it's $400 a bottle, and that's the generic brand. And I'm like, holy crumb, I can't do that. You know, like I go through this every year. So then it has to go through a special form by the, you know, pediatrician or whoever to go to pharmacare to get a supervisor to approve it. So it got approved, but not everybody's that lucky, people. Right? You know what I mean? And it's frightening, right? Well, how am I going to pay $400 for his medication? I'm already maxed out. So there's probably somebody watching my video that's on medication, just hanging on a freaking thread, not knowing if and when it's going to be covered for and for how long. And that's frightening. And I can relate to that. So whether they're disabled or whether they're elderly, or maybe even a young person, well, yeah, because if you're in that situation where you require a certain amount of medication on a daily basis, blah, 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 that becomes a form of a disability, right? And if you are financially not able to meet that expectation, then yeah, we are in the Western world. We are supposed to have those safety nets, but you're at 34 years old sitting up at the clinic waiting, you know, to get an approval for this medication, whatever, whether you're homeless or whether you got a little apartment or whether, what doesn't matter. and they're messing with your head, and they're saying you don't qualify, or blah 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 blah. Here, sign up for MAID. You know, you're too stressed out, clearly, because we can't guarantee that you can get the medication, so you're going to have to go without. So, being that you're all stressed out and everything, why don't you just make it simple on yourself and kill your fucking self, and we'll help you to do it. Is that what we're looking at in terms of elderly protection? Is that the protection that I get? Considering what I'm going through right now with my grandson coming to tell me that we're waiting for the police. You're right, Nana. I think, no, he said, Nana, it feels like we're waiting for the police. I'm like, I know. That's kind of how I feel about it, too. Like, this is like homegrown terrorism all over again. And over what? Little round caps that I bought for Amari so he can learn how to count and maybe distinguish colors at some point in the future? Or what? I got things on my wall on shelves so that my kids can come and take for their kids if they want to use, or whatever, or maybe I might use for Amari, especially now that I've got the basement and a little more open room. You know what? But I'm expected to sell it or chuck it out because it's quote-unquote garbage. Since when? So yeah, where's the Disability Protection freaking service team? Where's the Ministry of Disability Service? No, CP. Where's the Ministry of Disability Protection Services? Where is the Ministry of Elderly Protection Services? Where do those two services on the services of CPS, EPS, and DPS, do they all fall under one ministry? What ministry does it fall under? Because there is no elderly protection services. There is no disability protection services. We get MAID. Right now, it's not a systemic problem. Systemic means widespread. We're still in the infant stages of implementing the quote-unquote systemic problem. Where once you hit a certain age, if you don't have an X amount of credit score in your what? Internet wallet, like, you know, your wallet online wallet. If you don't have an X amount of credit score on your online wallet, there's going to come a time where they're going to say, well, you reached age 65, you reached your carbon max, in terms of, you know, how they're trying to bring in carbon usage. You buy this, you use that, you breathe. It all adds up to an X amount of carbon that you're using on the planet. Once you surpass that, right, if you can't stay quote-unquote fit and not develop a lifelong injury or disability or illness or whatever, then yeah, you won't have a choice. You will be forced to sign up to MAID. Yeah. Or they'll just straight up kidnap you like they're doing now off the streets. And people just disappear. With a whole lot of okie dokie. Oh, well, they just got tired of living in the neighborhood and decided to go someplace else and start fresh as a homeless person with mental health issues. Yeah. They just forged their way with their little backpack and said to hell with everybody else. Yeah, right. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. So anyway, I just want you guys to think about that, right? Like, I don't know why I'm finding myself in this position, but I am. I'm not going to stop talking about it the way I see it and the way I experience it. It's not fair that we're sitting here waiting for the freaking cops to show up with the freaking fire department, with the social workers, so they can rip Amari out from underneath our feet, even though Amari is happy, right? You know what I'm saying? And he's well looked after. He doesn't get sick. He has his little, moments of being free. Well, he actually has his moments of being free 24/7 because he's not locked up in a freaking cage to control him. Just saying. I'm holding down the fort. I haven't done anything wrong. My grandsons have a right to have something and have nothing. So if I can't keep it, at least let them keep it. Unless, of course, you want to put them into environments where there's nothing and they will not have anything. At least here, everything belongs to them, regardless of what other people got to say. If Shimei was alive, she'd inherit it, so why can't Andre inherit it? If Tisha don't want it, Marcaine don't want it, Shimei would want it. Why can't, and Andre wants it, why can't Andre inherit it? Oh, I know, because there's no affordable housing. He has to rent a spot on a mattress someplace and share the fucking pillow with a complete stranger just in order to not be homeless and targeted for MAID. Because by that time, he might develop some serious mental health issues if he ends up finding himself having to deal with the bullshit that goes on right now for all these homeless individuals, regardless of what they are in terms of age, that are living out and about in our streets as is today. From province to province to province to province to province. So really, technically, people should be fighting back against this, mate. And why there's no advocacy groups around it, I don't know. It probably boils down to they think it won't happen to them. So therefore, why waste your time? Well, you'd be surprised. They might not come out right out and say, yeah, kill yourself. But you honestly think that these social workers are thinking about the well-being of the whole family versus, like, what do you want me to do? Walk away? Wait for people to come in and just push me out and hold me down and grab and pig out on my shit? Do you want me to just go sign up for MAID and just solve your problems? Right? And then blame me, victimize the victim twice, saying, oh no, she did it to herself because she was trying to solve her problems. When in fact, the only people that it would benefit would be the people that are trying to hurt my family, so that they can have more for themselves, because that's basically what it boils down to when it comes to these types of scenarios. Yeah. Anyway, now I'm just talking in circles. I think he settled down. Maybe he fell back asleep. I think last time I checked him, he was staying on the couch. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to go see what he's done, because he's been very sneaky tonight, with very quietly. I went in there, I looked, and he made a bunch of laughs. He's just laying on the couch, but he's listening. He's just laying there, not doing anything, being real quiet. But as soon as he seen me, he started laughing. And like, it's now 6:30, and like whatever energy I had went out the freaking window, and I'm kind of tired. I want a cat nap now and get ready for doing what I wanted to do. But he doesn't want to fall asleep. And being that he's so determined to get off that couch now, based on what he did tonight. He kept doing it, right? I don't want to be working down the hall for too long. Because he's fast, eh? That's the thing, he's getting fast. So I might have to lay down. So he'll fall back asleep, and I may fall asleep, and then I'm going to be behind. And that's going to put me in jeopardy of whatever, to be criticized, whatever. All right. Oh, yeah. I'm trying anyway.